Okay, we are back recording, and I want to tell you, first of all, I want to apologize because I had Ezra all mic'd up, but I didn't turn on the mic or the receiver. So
you didn't miss much.
My bad. But now Ezra's mic'd, and you may not have heard his explanation of how he got into it, but I might remember some of it. But Ezra, just tell us a little bit about air conditioning. Were you, I suspect, when you went to trade school in Arizona, that air conditioning was probably really high up there as a part of the trade, because who doesn't have air conditioning in Arizona, right?
Right. I didn't work in the trades when I was there at all.
Just the school?
Just the schooling, yeah.
Did they focus a lot more on AC? Or just
everything, yeah.
So what about Santa Barbara? How much, think about, of every 10 forced air units you install, are they all with air conditioning? Does everybody get air conditioning now in Santa Barbara?
A lot more recently, last few years.
Last few years, but
yeah.
Generally, if I remember correctly, nobody needed air conditioning here. I never wanted air conditioning until about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Now I want it every year.
Yeah.
So now it's kind of like, yeah, those 5 or 6 or 10 or 12 or 14 days in a row that are over 90.
Yeah.
People remember that.
Just want to be comfortable.
They want AC for those times, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So to make AC work, the components of that, could you tell us about that?
Sure. You've got to have an air handler. So in this case, it's the furnace because it has a blower in it. So the air conditioning and the furnace share the blower. And on the furnace, you attach the AC coil, the evaporator coil, and it's a box that attaches to the furnace. And
so you could have the furnace and just not attach an AC coil.
Correct.
Same furnace, but if you wanted to have air, you got to add the AC coil.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. And from that evaporator coil, you have your refrigerant lines. So you have a suction line and a liquid line. The big one's the suction, and the small one's the liquid. And
so
then
the insulated line is what is it again?
It's the suction line.
And what does it do?
This is being drawn back to the compressor at the condenser, the big line. So the big line, insulated line, is going back to your compressor outside, and the liquid line is the one being pumped into the coil. And then there's a metering device inside the evap coil that changes the state of the refrigerant. And just part of the cycle of the refrigeration.
So for me, the forced air is pretty easy to comprehend. You know, you have gas as a heat source, you ignite it, you heat the air, you blow the air throughout the house through ductwork. Air conditioning is a little harder to understand. Could you just tell us how in the heck does this turn like ambient air into very cold air? How does it work?
This got me on the spot here. It's just so you have your outdoor unit, which is the condenser outside, and that's got the compressor in it, which is the heart of the system,
and
basically.
That sits on a pad, and it has to be outside the building.
Yes, should be outside the building. Yeah.
You never put them inside, right?
In some commercial stuff, I've put them up in some attic spaces because there wasn't other options. Yeah.
Okay, but generally they're outside the building.
They should be, yeah, so they can release the heat being absorbed by the refrigerant and pump it outside, because there's another fan outside that blows the hot air up and out.
So it actually takes the heat out of the air? Is that what it does?
The refrigeration absorbs the heat inside, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then it exhausts it out there. And then how do you wind up getting cold air? How does it get cold?
It's just changing the state of the refrigeration. There's a metering device on the indoor unit that just changes the state from, this is where I gotta sit and think about it.
It's like magic.
Is that, well,
Freon we're talking about?
Yeah, refrigerant, right.
It's just the refrigerant that we use.
Yeah. Just changing the state from, it gets pumped out as a liquid coming through here. That's why they call it the liquid line. And it goes to a metering device which lowers the pressure, which, I can't explain more than that because I'm not smart enough, but it allows it to absorb heat from the airflow being pumped across the coil.
It's still magic to me. It's as magic as electrical. As flipping the switch and having the lights go on. Tell me I pushed the button to record. I think I did.
I wasn't well prepared for this, Rodney, honestly. I've been dreading it so much.
Yeah. Yeah, push the button, record. So let's go walk around and look at some of your ducting, especially this special duct that we're looking at, and also just looking at, while we're in here, hopefully you can hear me on Ezra's mic. This is Isonine, or this is open cell foam, and it allows us to insulate with an R value that's consistent with what we need. I think it might be R30, and it allows us to have a vaulted and open beam ceiling without having to vent the rafter bays. And I'll tell you more about that in class. And this is our unfaced bat insulation throughout. So Ezra, let's go over and just talk about your ductwork for a minute, and then I know you're just loving this and want to do it all day, but I might be able to just let you go after that. Let's go. We'll go over here and check your ductwork out. I'll follow you. So, oh, by the way, right while we're right here. So because you have a furnace in the attic, I mean, it seems to me ideally, for as I remember it, the ideal forced air is floor registers. But if you have slab on grade, that's very, very difficult to do. And it used to be done, and I'm telling you, it's a bear to work on. Those, big ducts underneath the slab.
Yeah.
Just really, really a toughie. So generally, if you have a slab on grade, you're not going to have floor registers. You're going to have high wall registers, and that's what we've got. We've got, what is it, 6 by 16 or something like that?
Yeah, I think a 6 by 14.
6 by 14 high wall register, which is ideal for air conditioning. High heat rising is not ideal, but it's not bad. Believe me, this house will be warm, and the insulation is going to help a lot. So let's go look at this special duct, because we had a special problem here, and the problem was how to get with this open beam ceiling. Because remember, in here we're going to show all these side tilt trusses. This will be painted, but that's what it's going to look. That's what it's going to look like. And if the living room addition, again, we have a vaulted ceiling, which we did with an open cell Isonine foam, so we wouldn't have to vent the rafter bays out at the eaves, which I'll tell you more about. But I had to figure out how to get, or we had to figure out how to get air and cold over to the garage, which is going to serve as the owner's office. He's going to use it as an office. It can still be used as a garage, but he plans to use it as an office, so we want to get him a duct over there. So Ezra, what did you do? How'd you do it?
Well, there was a void over here in the corner that we could get a duct through, and basically just cut out some of the framing that wasn't structural and ran a duct across that you're going to build some sort of chase around.
We are. So,
Soffit.
But Ezra is actually not tooting his own horn as much as he should be here, because he really figured this out, and we needed a custom sheet metal part of the ducting just to hold a register, right? That thing right there, insulated as it is, and that'll get boxed. The whole thing will be boxed. It'll be boxed. The box will be underneath here, and it'll go straight up like that and around that guy, so it'll just be a big, it'll kind of look like a beam, a box beam, or a chase, and then this will put ducted air, or cold air and hot air into this room. We've got 3 supply air ducts up high on this wall, and then there's one ceiling. I think we have one ceiling duct in the garage /
Yes.
office, and that's going to need to get a fire damper because we need a separation for it as a garage. I just want to
Keep forgetting that.
show you this duct. Really clean work. So let's just, why don't you come over here for a second? We're going to say goodbye. Okay, sorry about all the moving around. So, Ezra, if you could tell my students something, if you could tell them something about being a tin bender and a HVAC guy, what would it be? What little piece would you want to give them, just off the top of your head? What pops in your head? Like, don't be ridiculous and do this, or wear chainmail gloves when you want to.
Yeah, I mean it's hard work, but it can be satisfying.
Does it pay off? Is it a decent trade to be in?
It's a good trade. You learn a lot from this trade. You learn a little bit of plumbing, electrical, mechanical. So you learn a lot from it, which is good. If I had to do it over, would I do it again?
Yeah.
Probably not.
No?
No.
And is it because of the contracting and just
It's all of it. Yeah, there's a lot
of
of stress running a business, especially contracting business, which I'm sure you
Yeah, I do.
can attest to.
And especially, and for you, I feel for you because you're in that position where you're, even though you have Krista, you're still running the business end and you're still working. And
Yeah.
it's really tough because the business end, as you get bigger, takes so much. And the other thing I want to mention is that you know, if you have a problem in your house, there's all kinds of problems that don't need immediate attention. And then there are lots of problems that do need immediate attention. Plumbing problems usually need immediate attention, but heating and air problems need pretty much immediate attention. Like when people, as cold as it's been, and they don't have heat, they need you there. And that's got to be stressful for you. It's got to be.
Yeah, just trying to.
Oh, Ezra, my kids are freezing.
Yeah, pile in service work that's not scheduled in with your scheduled work. It can be tough. So.
How far do you roam? What's your territory?
Yesterday I was in Ventura, and I've done a little bit in Santa Maria, so you could say Ventura to Santa Maria.
Big, and you're based in Lompoc.
Yes, yeah,
That's a pretty big area to service. But I'll tell you, I can tell you that I've had a lot of HVAC guys, and Ezra is beyond belief. Plus, I mean, look at him; he's so cute.
It's just not a good interviewer. That's all.
Yeah, you're great. You're great, Ezra. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You say bye, class.
Bye, class.